probably gonna bounce the car. Everything is on it. It needs to go back to Tesla.
What's going on, everybody? Jason with Chicago Auto Pros, and behind me we have a brand new Tesla Model Y that just came into the shop. Customer got this 2 weeks ago. It has 381 miles on it. It's in the shop for us to do some protection services, a front end clear bra, some ceramic coating. But unfortunately, we just had to call the customer because this one's going back to Tesla because this one has some major issues going on. Let me show you what we have. We'll start on the front end. We'll start easy. We'll go into this. We actually took the trim piece off here and the side marker because we were going to do some front end paint protection, but the guys actually came and got me after they did their inspection and said, there's way too many issues with this car. So we have some pigtails, and this is not a big deal. We could polish those out. We're gonna start small and we'll work our way to the bigger problems. It's a black car, so you see the typical scratch marks and everything that we got going on in the car. Polishing residue up in there, polishing residue in the door handle here, which we see a lot of. Once we start getting back here, this is where it got a little funny. See down here? See that gray patchy area? We've already washed this car too. That's overspray. That's the first sign of something that's been repainted, and we're like, all right, why is there overspray on this car? One spot of overspray. This is the back rear passenger side door. And we keep on going. Come back down here. All right, take a look at this bumper. So this bumper was obviously buffed, probably by this service center. And you can see some overspray here. You can see the hard line right there. Must have been a tape line right there for overspray. A little bit of a rub mark, but then you can see right here, see this spot right here? That's the start of a burn spot. That's some wet sanding marks right there. Never got finished out. Leftover adhesive, that's pretty normal. That's easy to take off. As we come around to the back of the car, this is the biggest issue of the vehicle. You can look at here. The paint's gone. There's no paint up here. Giant scratch in the back already. So there's two things that we could have here. We're actually get the paint gauge and actually measure it. I don't know if it'll measure it on this material, but the same thing on the back tailgate here. Look at this. That is either buffed till there's no more paint left, or it just wasn't fully painted at the factory. To be honest, I'm not sure. You know, the service center could have burnt this, but it certainly could have been from the factory too. I'll get a paint gauge and see if it'll measure. I don't know if it'll measure on that material. See that reading? Not even a mil of paint on the back there. You should be looking at 3 to 4 mils on a new car. There we go, we got 5 mils on the door, 5 on the hood, 5.3. So it looks like a little thin on the fender here. The fender we're reading 1.5. Fender's really low. The doors and the hood seem to be fine. This back quarter panel here seems to be pretty low. Back tailgate, almost no paint. You can see right through it. 4 on the door, 4.89, 4.75, 5 on the door, 1.29 on the fender, 1.489. As we keep on going on the car, on the bottom here, you can see this whole door where it looks splotchy. That's all overspray. Now that's easily removable, but that's a telltale sign that something's been painted on this car. And usually if something's repainted, you would see like a massive influx on mils. You'd see that at 8, 9, 10 mils if something was repainted. So it is kind of weird. The doors are all at 5. It seems pretty even. The hood's at 5. The back end is super, super thin. Honestly, I don't think anything's been repainted. I don't think it may be a bumper. That's all I can think of. We can't measure the paint because they're plastic bumpers. It's only transmits through metal. So it might have been a bumper that was repainted on this, and we got overspray on the car here on the bottom. Another spot here. This almost looks like the start of a burn spot. You can tell there was some polishing because it's a little lighter and you got some haze. This is really, really weird that's going on right there. We'll go over some more stuff. I'm not making this video to bash Tesla. I'm making this video for consumers to understand that a new car is not always new. There's issues, there's always little small things. We see it here all the time at our shop. We get brand new cars, there might be pigtails or little scratches or something, minor problems here and there. My point is that you should go over the car properly because, I mean, this customer's had the car for 2 weeks. He brought it to us and we're looking it over. And hopefully Tesla's gonna be cool with this. I'm sure they're going to. They'll fix the issues. You'll probably get a new car. But not all new cars are new. You gotta go over it. People are human. Mistakes are made. And hopefully Tesla will make this right. Unfortunate for the customer, you know, he's probably waiting for this car for months and months, and now he gets it and he's got all these problems. And it sucks, I feel bad. It sucks for us too, because we had this on the schedule for, you know, for a month now, and now we can't do the job. You know, it's an open hole in our schedule that we gotta fill somehow. It's unfortunate. On the front hood here, you can see, if you look in this light up above, you can see these are pretty normal. You can see these are dust nibs. So when it's painted from the factory, little dust particles can fall in between the color surface and the clear coat, and they make these little dust nibs. And if we put film over them, it kind of accentuates those dust nibs because they are a little bit, you can feel them if you rub your hand across them. We do wet sand them and kind of level them out so they're nice and flat. Again, up here, this is the door into the fender. You can see the splotchiness, the discoloration, the fading right there. On the side of the door here, if you come here and look on the other side of me, Jose, look at this. This is the edge of the door. You can see right inside there, there's not even paint on the edge there. Side mirror here, you can see the side mirror. You can see this is some rotary haze. You can actually see some, if you look deep into it, you can see some pigtails in there. Again, that just may be a dust nib that they denibbed and sand down, and then they polish it, but they didn't quite polish it out to a perfect finish, so you get this haziness to it. Again, looks almost like the back tailgate that you have in the fender or in the door jamb here. That's typically pretty normal where they'll have just a little bit of paint missing in there. That's not a big deal, but when you got paint missing on the outside of the car, you did something wrong. See that paint missing? The last Tesla that we did, we had a lot of interior problems. I'm gonna take a look at the headliner over here. Last time we had like a gap issue with this. This one looks good. No gap issue with that. Headliner looks pretty good, all intact. The last headliner that we looked at had some glue missing on the visor here, and you can kind of see it sagging already. You know, it might not be a bad idea to call your detailer out to, if you're buying a new car, have them meet you at the dealership and kind of take a look over it and see if there's any issues on it. You know, he's probably gonna charge you a little bit, but it'd be worth it to figure out these problems right then and there at the dealership than taking it home and then you're kind of fighting back and forth. Did it really happen? You know, it wasn't, whose fault is it type of thing. Some interior alignment issues. See a little bit that's off. I don't know if that's just off a little bit, you know. Up here you can see just some very faint, this is overspray on the car. That's clear coat overspray. Again, that's minor, that's fixable. but something's been repainted on the car, and I'm gonna assume it's the back bumper here. I haven't looked really close at the back bumper to see if this was repainted or not. Usually you can tell a repaint if you, on the edges of it, so you open this up and look inside. This doesn't look to be repainted. That looks fine, actually. We'll look at the edges back here. Those are good. It's really weird. There's overspray on this car, but it doesn't appear that anything or any panel has been repainted. Ooh, maybe that's it. No. I'm looking at the edge here. Maybe this was repainted. That doesn't look like it was repainted either. What the heck? Is that supposed to do that? Look on the interior while we're in here. Ooh, look at that alignment issue right here. Interior. You can see the other side's fine. Nice and flush. Must be a broken tab in there. Our last one had a big gap here where that's flush, that's good. All right, yeah, that's nice. Typical what you see when you have a dust nib or something in the paint. They would sand it at the factory, denib it, and then they polish it out. But this is pretty normal. When we see that, we see rotary marks like this. They polish a little outside of where the dust nib actually was, and then you see this haziness to it, which it just wasn't finished down properly, which is pretty normal what we see. But again, you see that this whole corner here is one big overspray spot. And you can see the tape line right there. It was taped right here, and it was taped right here. Normally, if they're painting a piece, you're gonna put a big, giant piece of plastic over it, and then you would tape it down like that. So this trim, you can see this line down this trim piece here. That's residue left over from tape. But why was there a piece of tape on this panel? They were covering up something. I just can't find what was repainted. It's a front bumper. Front bumper looks good. I can't figure out what was repainted on the car. Something was, or another car, it was next to a body shop that they covered this up and they were painting something else. It's got overspray on it. It's got some major issues on it. My whole point is just check your car. Every car, just because they say it's new doesn't mean it's brand new. There can always be small, minor issues with it. In this case, there were some major issues with it. Check your brand new car. All right, just so we're not picking on Tesla, here's a brand new Bentley Flying Spur 2020, 304 miles on it. Customer just brought it to us. And let's take a look at this. If you're going to get a brand new car, I want to teach you guys what to look for. First of all, you would need a light source, so just grab a flashlight. These are both cheap LED lights from Amazon. And let's take a look at this car. You want to be inside, so if you're going to pick it up at the dealership, ask them to leave it inside so you can inspect it and go around it and look what you have. So looking at this Bentley, the first thing that we see is, we saw this again on the Tesla, you see this haziness here. That's somebody polishing out something for some reason. And if you look right in the middle, you see this big old scratch. So whether that was the dealership, whether that was, because these cars, they get delivered on a lot of times open trailers. And you'll see this, and maybe something happened when it was being pulled off the trailer. It got scratched right here, so the dealer may have wet sanded that area and then polished it out, as you can see. But that scratch is pretty deep. I don't know if we can make that disappear. Usually when you have a scratch like that, you rub your fingernail over it, and if it catches the scratches through the clear coat and it cannot be fixed by buffing it, it would have to be repainted. I feel a little bit there, but I'm pretty confident that we can make that almost disappear. As we look at the car, we have normal scratches and swirls. This is pretty common on black cars, especially. This says 300 miles. I know the customer did not wash it. He's been driving it for a week until his appointment came up. He didn't touch it. You can still see over here, there's still residue. There's still sticker residue on here, on that B pillar that you can see. This may have been washed by the dealership. Oftentimes they will do what they call a new car prep, where they remove all the stickers, all the adhesive, and a lot of times when they take this adhesive, they'll start rubbing, and that's where you'll see some more scratches. And if you see stuff like that, or dust nibs, they may wet sand, they may do a bunch of different things to it. My recommendation is not to have them do anything to the car. Just when you pick up a new car, if this was special ordered for them, just go straight to the dealership and inspect it yourself. Don't have them wash it, don't do anything. You just never know who's behind in the wash bay washing it. Make sure that you have confidence in the person that's doing your new car prep. Otherwise, you may see things like this. Come down to the bumper here. Now, some of this stuff is from the factory. You're gonna see this, this very tight haze. You can see it up in here. You can see the difference between this corner and this corner. That means there's been some wet sanding done there. You can see that grayness to it, and then it wasn't finished properly. So they wet sanded something for whatever reason on that bumper, and there's some more on the other side too, we'll show you, where they didn't finish it properly. They didn't polish it out. You can almost see that hazy, that rubber, or that haze there from the polisher. They just didn't finish it out properly. See that? See those big scratches? Now, obviously it has 300 miles on it. The customer's had it for a week or so. That definitely could have been something rubbing on it. Maybe they put some sort of cover on transport. That could be from anything, but you can see how delicate this paint is. 300 miles. It's soft. It scratches very easy. You gotta be super careful if you wanna keep your paint looking good. Let's keep on going here. See this back bumper. All kinds of haze, more of that haziness that you see. Wet sanding. You can see the pigtails in there. You can see it really good on this side of the bumper. Again, inside this lip here. You can see all the haziness. You can see that right up into the quarter panel there. Looks like some sort of scuff mark right on the edge there. I don't know if you can see that. Almost looks like a chip right there too. Right on that edge there. So you'll want to look at the paint. You want to look for those certain things. I mean, those are pretty typical of a new car. You'll see that. That's why we get a lot of new cars here right away, and we'll polish that stuff out. We'll put a ceramic coating. We'll put paint protection film on it. We'll protect the car. We'll make it look perfect. A telltale sign when you're looking at your brand new car, if you see any polishing buildup, wax buildup, and any of the cracks and crevices, you see here in the gas tank there, there's probably been some polishing done to this. Again, that's not a bad thing, but you just want to make sure whoever's holding the polisher knows what they're doing, and it's not going to leave it hazy like that other side, or just not completely finish it. You know, the clear coat's thin. Who knows how much clear coat they're taking off? They could be using a heavy rotary machine and just mowing that clear coat down. You know, the machines that we use here to polish paint, we're taking the least amount of clear off as possible. We still want to get that nice shiny look, but we don't want to jeopardize the clear coat. Again, we can see that's a deep scratch in there. Behind this trim piece, Justin was telling me that this is a blackout package. Normally some of this stuff is chrome, some of the mirrors, some of the front pieces, the trim, the wheels. This might have been taken off, and you can see all along there, and we'll wash it and we'll figure out what this is a little closer, but you can see right there inside that trim piece, that's either wax, adhesive, or that's a scratch. To me, that looks like a scratch, but I don't know until we wash it and actually take a closer look at it. So inspect the paint, stand back a little bit. Again, some of this, some of the hazing and the scratches are gonna be normal. You can fix that. What you're looking for is any major damage, like panels that aren't fully painted, gaps, anything broken, stuff that doesn't work. Maybe something happened in transport. This stuff happens. We're all human. But I'm sure whoever is selling you the car at the dealership, they want to fix it. They want to make sure you're happy. But you don't have a whole lot of legroom to stand on if you take the car and you have it for 2 weeks. Find it right away. Find it right away at the dealership. Look at the wheels. Of course, these wheels are really dirty. The guy's been driving it for a week. Some more haziness. You can see this is a real tough spot too. Those pigtails or that haziness. Probably a dust nib right there, and they polished it. And you can see they polished that back to where the finish should be, but that edge is hard right there. And then look at this right here, right? Some deeper scratches. So there could have been something that rubbed there, and that's why they did that maybe? Because of these deeper scratches? But those are some deep scratches there. Again, this could have happened while the customer had it in his possession, you know, in the parking lot, somebody rubbing by it. This is a nice car. They're going to stand over and look at it. That's why we encourage people. It's tough. When you get a brand new car, you want to drive it. I get it. But, you know, like us, we're out 2 weeks right now. We're booked out 2 weeks. So if somebody calls and wants something in, you got to wait 2 weeks. And it's hard not to drive your car, but it can be damaged real quickly like this. So if you do find that type of damage, it can be fixed. I mean, most of this stuff on this vehicle can be fixed. All that hazing, the pigtails, the little wet sanding marks, the little scratches, the haze, that can all be fixed. It's gonna cost a little bit of money, and you can talk to your dealership and see if they can reimburse you for the time that a detailer would take to fix all that for you. So you can definitely ask them for that. On the outside of your vehicle, look at the windows. Look at this here. I don't know if this, you know, look at this trim. You see how wavy this is? It looks in and out, kind of, like something happened to it. It's not perfectly straight. This car came into us and it was already tinted, so was that there when he picked it up, or was it the window tinter's fault? I'm not sure. But I know that ain't right. You want to find that stuff right away. You can see this piece of trim perfectly straight. There you got some waviness or something going on to it. Wait a minute. Isn't there supposed to be a piece of trim here? Look on this side. There's a piece of trim. Let's check the other side. They're missing a plastic, they're missing a rubber piece on the trim. There's supposed to be a rubber piece there. Again, I know this was window tinted, not by us, by somebody else, but where did it go? It's not there anymore. That's why we check the car. That's why we go over this stuff. I'm gonna grab Justin and show him that. Got a weird gap there that doesn't look normal. Let's look at the other side. See if it matches. No, that looks a little bit cleaner. See the difference there? That gap. Look at this side. This trim piece, we've noted this trim piece here was wavy.
Yeah. Oh shit.
See that?
Yeah.
And then we looked over here. Let's look at the other side. It's missing!
The other side looks like they heated it too much when they're doing the window tint.
Yep, it's wavy. Let's take a look on the inside. I know most of these cars go through quality control, but even with my detailers, I let them know, you know, double check your work, triple check your work. You just want to make sure. You just never know. You know, the manufacturer could have, you look for the lights, something may have come unplugged or wasn't fully plugged in. You know, make sure everything works, the locks. Just take a close look at everything. Your sales guy will probably look at you crazy, but who cares? These cars are expensive. You just want them to come right. And most of the time, it's just going to be minor stuff, but every once in a while, you see stuff like that where you have a missing seal. And I am almost certain that's probably whoever window tinted the car probably had something to do with that, not the manufacturer. But if you're a detailer too, This is why you inspect a car. You know, this is gonna be, we're gonna be doing a ceramic coating, some paint protection film. It just came from another shop, window tinter shop. It's missing a seal. So we wanna let that customer know right away, hey, we didn't do it. It's like this when it got here. You know, we record every car when it comes in with the GoPro just to cover our asses. I don't wanna be blamed for that. There's things on this car that the customer probably doesn't see. And once we clean it up and make it perfect, he's gonna be looking at it, inspecting it, and he's gonna be like, what's this? 2 weeks later or a week later, however long we have the car, you're not gonna have a good answer for it. One of the first things that I like to do when I get a new car is just wash it. You know, that gives me, you know, I get to touch every part of it, I get to feel it, I get to look at things at different angles, and I get to see, you know, most of the time I buy used cars, but at least I know if there's a dent or scratch, I know where it is and see if I can fix it or not, but it gives me that opportunity just to get a little intimate with the car, you know? If you enjoy washing your car yourself, just take your time on that first wash and learn the new curves. It's like dating a new girl. So this front windshield was tinted. I don't know if you can get in here with the camera. I could probably take the camera for you. Here we just got a little bit of residue. That's probably just from the install, the soap install. That should wipe off really easy, but again, if it doesn't, I just want to make sure that we document that type of stuff. There you go, 2 brand new cars. They both have just about 300 miles on them. And you can see the Bentley with just some minor paint imperfections that we can polish out. The Tesla with some bigger paint imperfections that unfortunately that's gonna have to go back. Some of those panels are gonna have to be repainted and fixed, but check your new car, do some inspections. This is why it's important. I want you guys to know, go to the dealership. They may look at you a little crazy when you ask them to inspect the car and you bring out a flashlight, but it's safer just to know what you're getting before you take possession of it than to leave the dealership and find a problem that it's gonna be hard for you to get compensation on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.